503 was actually in the do list, but it wasn't, so I had to update it. So we'll start with 410. There we are, which is exploiting the phone with Metasploit. And I'm not sure what the deal is with 411. I'll look at that. This is the one I just updated. So we have a different setup than I've used in previous semesters. A setup here where you have a Windows or Mac host, and you have a Debian guest, and you have an Android emulator, and you cannot directly connect the Debian guest to the Android emulator with ADB because of this Android emulator is behind a virtual router. But we can do it this way. I just rewrote the project to move the files around the way it's going to be here. So let's see if I can do it locally on my machine. I got it all working at home on a Mac, Intel Mac, but now I'm on the ARM Mac, and it's possible that things won't work. As we saw, a couple things don't work, but most things work. So there's my Debian machine. And so the only thing I want to do here is get the address, which is 192.168.121.128. So I want to get in with SSH, which is the best way to control this machine. So SSH Debian at that address, which is 192.168.121.128. All right, and Debian. All right, so now I'm in, so I don't need this to be visible anymore. I'm going to remote control it. All right, so there's my Debian machine, and I need to install some software. So before you install software, it's a good idea to do an update. The update doesn't take long, and the point is it updates the list of available software called the repository. And okay, looks like there's a problem with the date on this machine. Right, it thinks it's the 12th of October. Now there is some way to update the date over NTP, but usually what you have to do is just wait a little bit. Maybe if I'm bored, I'll look at it. Update date and time. Debian command line. There is a command line for it. To update it with an internet source. And how do I set time and date from the internet? A command line. This might be good because it thinks it's like last week. Easy. Yeah, that would be a nice date. There we are. HW clock minus R. I don't care about that. Set date. There should be a way to just set it from the internet. Right. Everything except what I need.
Try that first link.
You saw one? You saw it looked any good. It's not, they wasn't connected to a server or anything. Shift Command T does not open it up. Okay. You saw one that was good? Because all these.
Well, no, not on this one. Just the first link.
Right, the first link. Let's see what the first link's like. Yeah. So there is some fairly easy way to do it. What I found before is by the time I find this, it automatically sets. What in the redirect Google? Well, the date header in the response to wget has the format. Well, I don't know. That might work. That's an interesting thought. He did a wget google.com. So let's see if the date's already fixed. It's not. So if I do a wget from, say, my website, I think he's right. It will have a header. Wget equals method equals head. Neat. Let's start with this. Well, that's good. That's actually pretty cool. I recognize all that. That would give the date from the. Yeah, that works. Okay, I'm liking it. Let's try this one. That's cool. That'll set at least the date. I'd never thought of that one before. That's a cheap and dirty way to get internet time. Invalid date.
Maybe to remove the date colon space.
Yeah, you have to remove the word date, right? Yeah, that's weird. This cut minus D should have done it, but I guess I need to go from field 3 to 7, huh? Nope. Well, let's go back to this one. Okay, cut by a space minus field 2 to 7. And if I make it field 3 to 7, still the same. What is this garbage? Oh, there, that's the one. 47. Good. So go back to this one and use 4. There. Neat. And it's even the right timing. All right, there. Yeah, that was fun. Okay. So, all right. All right, so now we'll do shoot after update. That was fun. A solution I hadn't thought of. There is a way to actually create an official NTP server and get the date from it. This is a sort of sleazy way for getting from a website who presumably was updated by an NTP server, but anyway, it gets the job done. So now there's some junk we'll need, which is probably already on here, but actually I don't really know if it's on my my ARM-based Debian, so it's good to put it on. Okay, and then just agree to put the junk on. Curl and wget and Android tools and stuff like that. All right, now I can put on Metasploit. Let's see if I already have Metasploit. It's MSF Venom. I do not. Good. So here's how you get Metasploit. You run a script, and it puts in a file called MSF install, and then use chmod executable MSF install, and then you run MSF install. Surprisingly, you do not need to be root. And I don't really understand why, because in fact it's uploading your repositories and downloading software, so it seems like it has to be sudo, but anyway, it works. So it would be a little bit interesting to look at that script and find out how they handled that. But anyway, it's working. So this is putting on Metasploit, which is the all-purpose hacking tool that we use in the pen testing courses, and pretty much everybody does. It's the free alternative to Cobalt Strike, which is what all the pros use. And it can hack, it has almost every known attack in it that has not anything that's new, but anything that is been patched within from a few months ago to earlier is in here. There are many, many kinds of attacks. So MSF Venom is the malware generator that will create standalone malware in many different formats, including Android. So here's the Android malware we have available in Metasploit. And I'll say, no, I don't need a stupid database. All right. All right, so here's some various options of what you can do with Metasploit. And what we're going to use, I think, is just interpreter reverse TCP. Yep, which is just going to open an interpreter shell and phone back to the command and control center over TCP. A very generic attack. But an interpreter shell gives you a lot of fun things you can do. So we need the IP address of our command and control server, which we already got before. It's up here, 192.168.121.128, because your malware has to have that address so it knows who to phone home to for the command and control server. So it has to build that into the malware. And here's the command that does that. And all I have to do is adjust the IP address to match it, and it's going to create a piece of malware called happyfunball.apk, which is going to be Android APK file, which includes an Android app that does this. So I just have to fix that address, which is 192.168.121.128. All right. And that will create an Android app, which will phone home to my command and control server. So if I look at it, S-L, there it is, happyfunball.apk, 10 kilobytes, not very big at all. Apps don't tend to be very big. All right, so now I need to sign it, although, you know, I tried something before class and I realized I don't even think I need to sign it, which is pretty exciting. We've had to sign it all the time before, but I had a command I added here which turns off some of the security on the system. ADB shell put global. This seemed to mean I didn't have to sign it, which surprised me. However, I can't run an ADB shell directly from my Linux box. I have to get it on my Mac. So to put it on my Mac, I need another command line. You could use an SFTP client or anything. I'm going to do it with SCP. So let's see if I have a 128 directory. I do. Good. Let's make a dir meta. All right, that'll do. All right, and now I'm going to SCP, just to see, okay, it's SCP source target. So the source is Debian at that old address, which is still up there on my screen, 192.168, 121, 128, and then you do a colon, and then you have to give it the whole path to the file. So that's home Debian happyfunball.apk. So this happyfunball.apk. Yeah? Oh, I thank you. Good. All right. That's the original source, and the destination is here. So I just put dot. And now it needs the password. And there it is. Now I've got the file on my Mac. And on my Mac, I can connect to the machine, presumably ADB devices. Oh, I'm not running it. I have to run the device, or I get nothing to talk to. Android Studio. All right. And I should have some devices. What is this garbage? My application, maybe? Okay, yeah. That's weird. I never had to do that in a long time. There we are. Now I got devices. Okay. So here's a device. I don't remember why I made two, but if either one of them works, I'll be happy. All right. Now, all right, so there's a device. Now, the other thing I need to do is I need to start a listener. So let me do that. This starts a command and control server. So the first, you can copy them all in, but the first command has to run through separately. So I go to my Debian box, which is here, and I run MSF console, another Metasploit program, -Q for quiet, so it doesn't print a big ugly banner. And it always takes a little while to start. This is written in Ruby, I think, or anyway, it's an interpreted language, so it's kind of slow. And then I just execute these commands, which starts a generic handler for Metasploit. So now it's listening on port 4444 for malware to phone home. That's my command and control server. And now I need to install the app on the phone with, this one. Like I mentioned, this is the command, which I think is going to mean I will not have to sign the app. We're going to see if that's true. Let's see if I'm connected. I am connected to a device. So I execute that command, and it does something to do with the security on the device. I thought it was just turning off the Play Protect, but I think it's letting me install unsigned apps. I just discovered that by accident right before class. Let's see if that's true. Yeah, it lets me install unsigned apps, which is pretty awesome. I didn't know anything would do that. But now I've installed an unsigned app. Now the app is on the phone. The problem is this app has no GUI. If you look on your phone, you can't launch it. You can't find it. If you go here, I don't think you can even see it. It's called Metasploit or something, and it's not even there. So you can't launch it. So I have to launch it with an intent. And the way you do that, to make it seem like is you use Monkey. Monkey is the program. It's an Android utility, apparently comes by default, that will simulate presses. And you can even test apps by having it simulate a lot of presses. But I'm only going to make one press on the launcher. So that's the ADB command that will tap the app to launch it for me. So there we go. Launch the app. And it worked. No, that's just it didn't work. So Metasploit stage, launcher, events injected one, network stats, but it did not phone home, so something is wrong. Not good. See, I don't know how a firewall or anything. The most common reason why this happens is I made some mistake making the app. So let's get out, usually it's a mistake with that IP address. Let's get out of here. Wait, started reverse, no, out of here, quit. Control C. And this garbage keeps popping up every time I reach for Control C. Some worthless keyboard turns on some junk. All right, so what did I do when I made that malware? That's what I did. 192, 168, 121, 128. I was afraid of that. My app is refusing to phone home. Let's do ADB shell and see if I can ping that address. 192, 168, 121, 128. And I can, so that is just rude. Exploit failed. Well, Well, it worked fine at home on my Intel-based machine. I don't know why it's not working here. Here I am making it output happy funball APK lhost. Listening host is that. Well, phooey. I don't see any, I don't see a problem. I wonder, well, I'll just do it one at a time and I'll try signing the app. That's one possibility. It's remotely possible that has something to do with it, although it works at home without doing that. I'll make one more try and then I'm going to have to quit and I'll have to try to demonstrate it another day after I find out what I'm doing wrong. So here, that's what makes it. Let me go check my instructions. I'm pretty sure I'm following it. Android Meterpreter reverse TCP lhost. Yeah, that looks right. Lhost is this machine here, which is 192.168.121.128. Okay. I'll just try signing it in case that matters. It's the only thing I did differently. So I make a certificate as usual. Yes. All right. And now, by the way, to remove it, I got to remove the old one from the phone. Well, we'll finish signing this one first. That creates the certificate. This is what signs it. And then this is actually not a bad thing to put in here, because if you do make a mistake like I did, and somehow it fails, you have to remove the old one from the phone, and that's a little bit harder than I thought it was going to be. You have to find the name of it. And I figured out what the name was. If I do get off of the phone here, I can do ADB PM packages. ADB shell PM.
Don't they put it, isn't it in the argument you put it with?
Don't they what?
com.metasploit.stage.
Oh, you saw it? Where was it? Yeah, it was there. That's it. com.metasploit.stage. Good. I don't know. Actually, I didn't see that before, which is kind of interesting. You're right. It is com.metasploit.stage. You're right. So, shell PM. All right. So I think I know what it is. That's what I need to know. I had some way to find it before. ADB shell PM. Package. All right. And I'm in trouble. There is a PM packages command. All right. Anyway, I'm just going to go with this one. You saw it up there. I'll go by that. That's com.metasploit.stage. So it's ADB uninstall com.metasploit.stage. All right, that says success. So now theoretically I can install it, but first I need to pull it again. So let's get rid of this one. Remove. All right, and then let's copy it again. There it is. Okay, that's the big one that's signed. Now I can do ADB install. Happy Funball. And now I can do the start with the monkey. Oh, I got to start the listener again. All right, so here I got to start my MSF console minus Q and the multi-handler listening. All right, and here I launch it. And it fails. Oh, I remember now. You have to approve it. That's all. This pops up asking for permission. That's right. You have to give it permission when the first time you launch it. I have to continue, and now it works. It was probably working last time too. So now I have an interpreter shell. Good. It's just that box pops up. It's actually in my instructions. All right. So now you can do things on the phone, like you can do help and see all the things you can do. You can install another app and so on. And so there's various things you can try here. Let me get to my instructions. That's the glorious Meterpreter shell. You now have control of the phone. Sysinfo will give you the basic information about the system, including the flag, and to loot the phone. You can do, for example, a screenshot. You can download the cameras and so on. Let's try a screenshot. With Android, the screenshot command can only capture the host application Looks like it didn't work here. If this payload is hosted in an app without a user interface, it cannot take screenshots at all, so that's no fun. But we can download files from the phone and stuff. We can try some of these others. And if you have a real phone, I'm not sure you can do it here, you can probably do things like turn on the microphone and turn on the camera, take pictures and stuff like that. Anyway, so good. Anyway, that's the joy of Metasploit. So I'm going to stop this video.